If by chance you are dreaming right now, wake up! Welcome to Horror Night! Welcome everybody to Horror Nights. We got something really special in the works tonight. Okay, most of the time, I'm talking cinema, I'm talking giallos, I'm talking some kind of snuff porn film, maybe something crazy. I don't know, French extremities. But tonight we're talking about something that I believe is the crossover. Everybody's a fan of movies like The Conjuring. Everyone's a fan of movies of paranormal, different things, and even so and more. Everyone's kind of a fan of that movie, The Sixth Sense. It got us with the ending.
Yeah.
The ending was just mind blowing at the time.
Who
Nobody
doesn't love
expected
some
twists.
Sixth Sense?
Mhm.
That's
Nobody
a great
had
movie.
twists
It's a
like
classic.
that. Between that and the others, they both of those films got me good.
The Others was another fantastic film. Nicole Kidman, right?
Yes, and we didn't know that I'll spoil it.
Didn't know
We
they
didn't
were
know
dead.
that she was the ghost. That she was
Right.
hearing ghosts, but the ghosts were the living people, and it was just like,
What a throwback to a conversation we
Right.
had before where I was like, I wonder if ghosts think we're ghosts. And that's a good question.
And it could be that. It is.
But
But
dimension.
I had you on my show a while back, Zul, and we talked about horror and so forth. But we also were on another paranormal show that we talked paranormal about. And you told me about all these, a couple of stories, and one of them being about, when your mom passed and not being able to feel. And you mentioned a friend that was able to kind of guide you guys back or guide you to the answers you were looking for.
Yes, it was such an incredible moment in my life that really changed my whole belief system. I was probably I felt more indeterminate before that moment. And after that moment, it was like the purpose in that moment was for me to understand something greater than me. It was very meaningful. So, and it's probably that impactful because it was my mom, and I'm sure anybody would feel that way. So getting a outsider's view perspective on how that experience went and what her experience was and what my experience was, this will be interesting. So
it is. I do have a question about it though first. Was this before or after you experienced the tragedy on the side of the road?
It was before. And then after that, I saw that thing that happened on the side of the road, and that was another thing I called Jamie about. I was like, am I going to see dead people all the time now? Because I was freaked out by it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and that's honestly kind of, I think maybe some of the inspirations for these kind of movies, that there is legitimately people out there that can, if not see them, sense them, and sense dead people, sense other entities that are no longer among the living, because they're sensing the spirit.
I think a lot of us were probably born with that innately, but we prune that neurologically as we develop because we're taught that that's just silly. They're just seeing things. You're making things up. We're taught to push it away and push it away and push it away until it is no more. And then by the time you're old enough to remember,
too, that are watching these movies that are not real, and then their kid says, "Oh, I saw a spirit," and they're like, "No, you didn't. We just watched a scary movie," or you must have heard us talking about this movie. You must have. They just blow off their kids when sometimes
it's for real. I mean, I'll be honest, even as an adult, it doesn't happen to me much often, but I've known people, you're sitting there, you're watching a scary movie, you get an uncertain mind frame, and things start to feel or look differently. The shadows are starting to look different. But now you bring that as a kid. I remember, as a kid, horror actually scared me, and I did not enjoy it as much as I do now.
I remember watching Amityville for the first time in my basement room. The first time I was alone in my basement room and being like just petrified.
I was honestly afraid of them all. I would have to sometimes go through my house and make sure Michael Myers wasn't in the basement, Freddy wasn't under the bed, Chucky wasn't in the corner. I honestly did as a kid because I know it wasn't real. I mean, I
thought the devil was in my mirror. I was terrified. I used to put stuff over the mirror because the mirror faced my bed, and I'd see my own face in the dark and think
we're talking about a time period when I had a 70% chance of I had a 70% like fear tactic that sorry, that comment's just ridiculous. But regardless of that,
Oh, I didn't
um,
even see anything.
no. But at this time in the beginning, when I was growing up and such, I had a 70% chance of thinking that the Bermuda Triangle was going to take me. Like there was these fears that you would see and hear about. I watched Unsolved Mysteries at night. I had things that that other people didn't even know about, and I'm
Kind of
worrying
like when
about.
they taught you stop, drop, and roll. You thought catching fire would be a bigger deal as an adult because you were taught that was driven home so hard that you were like, man, adults be catching fire all the time. Stop, drop, and roll is really important. I've never once caught fire and needed it. But I know it. Stop, drop, and roll, baby.
But no, these things become installed in us, and even if they're in movies, they kind of go with you. And I think that's where it kind of sticks with you because especially growing up, we didn't have access to a lot of documentaries. There wasn't all these host of documentaries on supernatural things like you can watch today.
Right.
And so you would watch the horror movies, and those would be the visions and stuff that would be installed with you. Even scenes like Pet Cemetery. While we don't know if he was psychic or not, but there was the whole scene where the guy had just died. No, but the guy passed out. He had died. He got hit, and people were able to see him though. The child were able to see him.
People with The Shining can see him.
Same thing with The Shining. You had that
in Stephen King's world. All of it is called anywhere that occurs. They call it The Shining. Everybody has a little bit of The Shining.
I think that's what a lot of it ties back now, especially with that return to Derry's the show and such. It kind of brought everybody around a full circle of, okay, this is what horror is. But now let me ask, just so people know, how did you guys meet to begin with?
Do you want to tell him? You haven't had a chance to talk.
No, you're good. Danny and I met through Regal Vineyards, right?
Yeah, Regal Vineyards Haunted Winery in Addison.
My husband was a makeup manager there when it opened up, and Danny came, and she was a force to be reckoned with, and we loved it, and I loved her from then, and it's been a long time, like you said, like over a decade.
It's not my first rodeo where I've ridden the bull. So to speak. Because we had some fun times at Regal too, some tumultuous times. Her husband is like a brother to me. We fight from time to time.
Hey, I never smoked weed until my Blockbuster supervisor got me high.
So yeah,
it's always the movie people.
We were Regal Vineyards. Really is a very their haunt, very much so, is family. They treat their cast like family. Yeah. So it was a family. It became a family very quickly, and at a time in my life when I really needed one. So I was going through my own divorce. I had gone through a divorce and was recovering from a life-changing surgery, and I didn't have a lot of purpose in my life, and came across this. The story behind how we came to be at Regal Vineyards is interesting too, because my daughter is extra spooky, and we were at a zombie walk event the week before with the makeup artists, and the makeup artist said, we need this little girl at our haunt, but she's like 7, so you have to come along. And I'm like, oh no, twist my arm. Next thing you know, I'm doing costuming there, I'm doing helping with the makeup there, I'm helping everything. I had my hand in everything. I had my hand in every pot because I loved it so much, and they loved me.
Well, I mean, that's how you learn, right? You do a little bit of everything, right?
Yes. And it gave me so much purpose in a time in my life when I really needed it. It made me feel at home, and it gave me so many outlets in life that I hadn't even had an opportunity to see because I'd been a working girl my whole life.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything outside of work 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
And retail at that, because you were doing retail. So retail's like real work.
Well, retail and nursing. I was a registered nurse before I became disabled. So nursing was.
Well, as I mean, honestly, sometimes
12-hour shifts, 5 days a
I would
week.
rather deal with the nursing people than the cranky retail people.
Oh God, yeah. I would rather be a nurse every day than work in retail, hands down.
Because at the end of the day, you're not helping anybody. You're just feeding into these
Although
people
when
that
I
are
did
just
work at Blockbuster,
overprivileged. Oh,
when I worked at
yeah.
Blockbuster, my tagline to getting the job, because I hadn't worked in retail before Blockbuster, and the manager that was hiring me said, "What makes you think you would be good at a retail job if you worked in healthcare your whole life?" And I said, "Well, have you ever tried selling somebody a colonoscopy?" And she was like, "You're hired."
Mine was
If
even
I
easier
can
than
talk
that. They
you
were
into
like,
shoving a camera up your ass, I'm pretty sure I can talk you into a good movie and some popcorn.
you must have had high direct TV sales too then.
Yeah, we did great there. It is a little town though, so it ultimately shut down because it was small town, small business. Is what it
See, like it
ultimately
was,
came
I
down
worked for the
to.
one that was kind of in my town, so like I got to see a lot of people that would just be going to rent a movie. It was the closest
Mhm.
blockbuster on that side of town. There was another one down the street, um, but man, I miss the days of those radio stores because those were the days that I think
Oh,
that
they
really
were
kind
they
of
were the
like
days.
solidified it.
I'd be working at one right now if they had one. I
Oh,
would
I would
find a way
because
into
like that was
one.
the one job that after that I did retail for a while before I actually got into nursing. I did the other way around, but um, I had other jobs, most of them doing cooking and other stuff, but I thought it was okay, but it wasn't even as remotely as fun as just rewinding videos and putting stuff back on the shelf. Like I would rather have just done that.
I really had a blast working at Blockbuster. So back to The Sixth Sense, speaking of movies. And where were we going with this? We get back on the track of we were going to talk about. You had a
Well,
question
we
for
are going to
Danny?
talk about the question because, like I was saying, this was a person now that kind of was able to guide you to your mom when she passed, and you guys met we were talking about where you guys met, but that's how we got into videos. But at what point? I mean, how would you even know to ask this? How did this even come up that she was sensitive?
I don't even
How
know
did
that.
that come up? How
Like,
did
I
these
don't talk about it very often to very many people.
No. Like
So like,
Yeah, I'm not
if
sure
I'm
how it
correct,
came
it's
up
like
or
the
if I
first
just
time you kind of
picked up.
openly talking about it,
I
right,
think
Danny?
I want to say I just kind of picked up on it.
I would say that Danny would probably pick that up on
I
me
just kind of
because
picked up on it.
I'm
I don't
comfortable
remember
around
there
her.
ever being a formal conversation in which we had that she acknowledged it so much as I just picked up on that she was sensitive to things because I would see her reacting to things in the environment, like when there were quieter times together at Regal Vineyards and behind the scenes we're working together on projects and shit, and she would look at things or not necessarily talk to things, but like acknowledge things that I was like, I'm not sure
Not,
what she's looking at over there. I'd look too, and I don't see shit, but she's looking at something. And it's kind of like when you have a cat in the room. That's the best way I can describe it. When you have
thanks.
a cat in the room and the cat is looking at something, and you're like, is there a bug, man? What the fuck? So you get up and you go
I
over
get it.
there and you look for what the cat's looking at. You can't see it because only the
Yeah, I
cat
mean, I
can
think it
see
just
it.
came up naturally for
Yeah.
sure. You know,
Yeah, I think it was very organic. I don't think we ever had a formal conversation about it.
I don't think we had like formal conversations until,
We went to the seminary.
yeah, I think
When we
that's
went to the
probably
Madison
like when
Seminary,
you actually got to see,
I just got to see it in action.
yeah.
And that was a cool
Okay.
experience when we went to the Madison Seminary together, which is a very haunted place. She pulled something out of her pocket that kind of blew the owner away.
I don't even
She
remember
described
this
something
thing.
that was underground.
Oh yeah, I
It's
know
not
that.
on the blueprints. There's just no fucking way she could have known it was there. He didn't acknowledge it. There was no publicity about it. It's not like she could have read an article about it.
Was it
She
like a hidden
pointed,
tunnel or something?
she pointed to an empty field and said, "What's that building out there?"
He said that he didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
He's like, we did like X-ray ground X-rays to try and figure it out. He's like, I know how big it is. So like, I was like, well, is it like this big and like this? And and I still don't have my answer to exactly what it is, because what I saw were people like walking and then walking back, like walking to it and going down into it and coming out of it. And he's like, it could have been a cellar, it could have been, but we don't have that answer.
Yeah, we don't really know what it was. She acknowledged
Well,
there was
I
something
mean, not
out
for nothing,
there.
but now in the news, and you hear about all this, the islands and other compounds and all this shit. Who knows what's underground? Who knows
Well,
what
and the
kind of
seminary
evil
has a
lurks?
very seated history
Yeah.
of being multiple things, some of them tragic
But
places.
then
So
there's
who
also like, don't
knows?
forget, this whole country at one point had tunnels underneath just to move slaves to get from the south to the north. So we had like,
Especially up here where we are is the Underground Railroad
Yeah.
hub
yeah.
because we are right across the pond, literally, from Canada.
Canada.
So
So you
there's
had all sorts of like I said, you
Underground
figure foot
Railroad. Yeah.
traffic going
Right.
through. That's probably why a lot of the paranormal
I
happens
wonder if
because of that foot
Yeah.
traffic.
Jamie, do you remember? This is
No, it's
kind of
not
a
that.
sensitive, weird question, but do you remember what color the people were that were going in and out of the building?
I feel white.
White
And
people?
I don't think it, yeah, I don't think it was like underground. It's, to me, it was something like,
Storage.
either like, yeah, some kind of storage or storm cellar that they would hide if there was something going on, or
Nuclear bunker, perhaps. You guys got
yeah,
bunkers out there,
Tornado.
don't you?
yeah. And the gentleman that owns the building, he was like, we can't figure out what it is. It's not really huge. But I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty
He
cool
didn't
too.
he didn't really have any answers for us.
I
But she was
surprised
curious
myself.
about what it was. And so that was kind of where
Yeah.
that's the first time that I would say that I truly acknowledged that this girl is onto something. Because before that, it was just this nifty gift that she had that I was like, it was quirky. It was this cute little quirk that she had that I kind of picked up on. And then, but after that, it became this more serious, wow, girl ain't playing. She knows shit. It wasn't a game no more.
You're so cute.
The thing, it's interesting, and I got some questions. I forgot. I just realized I didn't bring down my drink, but um, I will have to go get that in a second. I always forget something, believe it or not. And I because I used to just do podcasts wherever, and I used to just be like, okay, I'm gonna just do an interview wherever. I'll do it from my room. I'll do it from here. I'll use my cam, whatever. It doesn't matter. But then, like, I was like, okay, there's certain topics. I don't, I got a kid now. He's getting a little bit older. He's starting to pay attention. There's certain topics, especially with the horror world, I don't get into that I don't want to get into. As I
Right.
mentioned, before
Yeah.
I'll let him watch gore and stuff because I can explain that to him that hey, this is prosthetics and fakeness. But when it comes to
But
like
intense
sexually explicit,
sexuality.
yeah, I can't. There's no way to even justify it for me. So I'm just like, okay,
Right.
we're
No.
skipping that movie, or
Understandable.
I'm finding rated versions that are different TV versions if I can even.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But no,
I respect
I
that.
made my own
Protecting your
kind of
kids is number
space.
one.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Always
But
is.
I
Always.
made a new space, and with that, I always forget bringing stuff down. But that's with me. But what I was gonna say is, my I guess my first question that's really been on my mind is when you see these beings, when you see something, is it like what you would see on TV? Is it like what you would see in a movie? Are you seeing this person for what they look like? Are you seeing more of the energy, the aura, the spirit, maybe a little resemblance?
So yes and no to all of those questions, because it really depends on what it is, where I'm at, how in tuned I am at that time. Sometimes it's just a vibration, like an energy shift in a room, and I'm like, you know, what is that? And other times it is full people standing in front of me just screaming like horror movie. So it really depends on how in tuned I am, and what they are. You
So is
know,
it almost like you're an antenna and you kind of got to find the right frequency at the time to get the clearest picture?
so I want to be very clear. I am 100% a believer that every single person can do the exact same thing that I can do.
I
So
do too. I do too. I don't believe anybody's really born special. I believe that they just know how to use their mind in a different way. Because remember, like so much of our percentage of our brain isn't used, but we don't know what percentage everybody uses of what parts. So
right,
people that are using different parts, well, guess what? They have different abilities.
right. I can understand that. Yeah. So that's it. It really depends on a lot of variations, but I will go and tell you that I'm a nurse's aide. So I deal with death a lot, especially because I work in long term care. So, like, most things are not scary movie, it's not like that. It's usually peaceful and calm and loving energies that come because that's what I allow.
Yep. And I've heard that from many, people that seem to be able to, commune or is that they're able to set a boundary that allows only like white light in or only will allow this so that angry spirits or other spirits aren't going to be coming in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, and also if you're working in healthcare, let's say for the most part, I mean, most of the people you would hope are passing peacefully, that they're not going in trauma. You're not, it's not like you're working crime or you're a police officer, you're a detective where
Yeah. I
you're
think that would
walking
be
into these cases that,
devastating.
where there's all this hate from the killer, there's all this, trauma from the victim. I think
Mhm.
that presents a whole different variation of what
It
gets
does.
seen and shown and even thought about. I mean, I don't believe, I mean, I probably am psychic. Like I said, I believe everybody is, but I remember clearly on Columbine, talked a little bit about it before, but I had a friend that was very, in tune. She lived in Washington. I lived out here. We were able to project, like, get onto an astral plane and
Hmm.
meet each other
Yeah.
and do all these cool things. And she showed me all these tricks and stuff. And I remember that morning just having this overwhelming, devastating feeling, gut wrenching. And then I went onto social media, Facebook, and I seen all the posts. And I'm like, oh God. And she just told me, she's like, yeah, just stay off because it's only going to be worse as the more you keep scrolling. You're going to be picking up everybody's vibes and everybody's things, even through the social media. It's like, so it got me in a mindset of kind of almost, I don't, these negative things happen, but I try not to dwell on it. Like I'll read one post, okay, and then anything else is just like I'm skipping past it because I've already read it. I don't stick with it because I don't want to
You can't
catch
dwell.
that
You,
negativity.
you can't dwell there because it's there's a lot of it
It's
in
a
the
good
physical
message
world.
also to learn that with people,
Yeah.
right? So, like, you can, what you bring into your circle is also going to be what is also given out. So there's a lot of times that, like, if somebody is off to me, I'm done. I can't have a relationship, a friendship with that person just because they're not right. It's the same with, so it's the same with spirits as it is as humans to me.
Yeah, and I would assume that I would assume not much gets lost. If you were a very, if you were a good soul in general, then you're probably a good, whatever after. And if you were malevolent in life, then you're probably most likely malevolent later. I just figured that energy is most likely going to stay the same unless something profound happened, in the time of death or before death that changed this person tremendously. I figure they'd probably be similar.
It usually does. People usually at the end figure it out.
No, and that's good. And understanding because I always wondered, does the movies get it right, or are they just writing like from what they think? Because let's face it, we've seen variations of ghosts that are totally just you know, not for another, but you got your over the character top scary ghosts that look
Yeah.
like they've been, just scary. But
The
then
nun.
Right.
we have
The,
ghosts that look as clear as day, like what you saw up in that upstairs, when you were at the
yeah.
haunted house, that is just like, okay, this isn't a translucent green glowing
No, that was a
monster.
solid
Right.
person.
This is a
I still
solid
swear that
entity.
was an actor, but there was no one there. So,
She
but
was an actor is the key word. See,
might have been. Maybe it was. Maybe it
maybe
was
they
one of
got
our former
trapped up
actors
there on a
who
hot day,
came
and
back to haunt the haunt. Yeah, that's my goal. They know it too. Jamie
or
knows.
maybe it happened
He's
on
gonna
the
go
trap.
look for
Maybe
me at
she's,
Regal because that's probably where I'll wind up. You guys, I'm
I
gonna
was a
let you
big
know.
fan.
I'm gonna haunt that place.
I was a big fan of American Horror Story that first season because it's like everybody that died in that house had to stay in that house, and you had all these different entities trying to live together.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a really interesting idea because, like,
Yeah.
that's just so awkward. You just get murdered. Now you're just like, okay, welcome to the family. We have to live for eternity
We gotta
together.
look at them. Yeah. I don't see that. I don't
No.
see that.
Well, you're
In the
not
movie.
going near
So
that. That's what I'm saying. You're not
let me
going
ask
near that
you
side.
that question. Are spirits trapped? Is there such a thing as spirits that are trapped, or are they free? Are they free to roam where they want and they just kind of choose to remain in one space because that's familiar to them or is comforting to them or gives them power of some sort? What is the deal with that?
So the spirits that I have encountered, some are trapped, and some of them are just stuck in this continual thought pattern that just continues over and over.
Is
So then
that
we
what
get that
hell is?
residual. I always say hell's on earth.
Oh,
That's just my
I believe
opinion.
that.
We
Um,
have so many horrible things here on earth,
yeah.
but some of them are stuck in that like pattern, and we call that that residual energy. They just continuously do the same thing. The ghost that walks by constantly. um
Is that a trapped spirit or is that really just energy? Like the
um
energy of the action unfolding repeatedly and because it was such a traumatic
Again,
event.
it depends on the event. There's people that say that like really violent things get burned into a
Existence.
loop,
So
and they constantly, there's like battles that are happening that people die. Gettysburg, where it's like that loop. Is it really the ghost there, or is it the loop? I think that it's a fraction of that person. It is a fraction of time that is
okay,
in that loop over and over
that
again.
kind of makes
So
sense because
you
if you
can.
think about it from a perspective of psychology,
Mhm.
or psychiatry rather, when traumatic events happen to people, live living beings, you can fraction in your brain and become multiple
Yeah,
personalities, multiple people.
yeah,
So it would only make sense that something similar could happen in the energy field as
right.
well.
And I think that those spirits are more connected there. So, like, if you see Joe constantly going, and you can go and pull him and speak to him, or, because they're already connected there. They might not be there themselves all the time because it's a fracture in like a dimension,
Yeah.
and but they're connected there.
It's quantum physics is
Yeah.
what it is.
Well, I mean,
So,
I think that's. I mean, in my opinion, that would be the whole trial and error of ghost hunting. You go to a location, you might see a blip like I did today, right? I did some little investigating on my own. I went to a cemetery. I was going to do this cinematic movie, and I ended up catching footage. Like, I wasn't expecting anything to come off. I figured I would have to do everything in post edit.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. All of a sudden, the thing starts lighting up at a certain spot, and I get up and I start checking it, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. And all I had was just the the
EMF.
meter. I didn't bring a spirit box. I didn't bring anything else. I wasn't planning on really like ghost hunting. It was just planned on kind of making a cinematic movie. I was shooting it in a way that it was almost so like a vlog style
Okay.
film.
Yeah.
And so I guarantee that I could go back there tomorrow and I might not see nothing, but then I could go back to that same spot maybe on this same date in a month and it might come back again. It might be like there's some everything I believe has like a time loop or a timestamp that these is when this occurrences happen. If you can find the pattern.
If you can find the pattern.
Yeah, it's or you can find the dimension, or you can find the vibration.
Yeah.
So and like you said, you're dealing
Different
with the
levels on
higher
which that thing exists.
you're dealing with the higher vibration entities anyways, which I mean for safety's sake that's better than the lower vibrations. Those are usually we get the demons and more malevolent spirits. Have you ever had to deal with anything on the lower vibration though? Have you ever had to?
Oh, yes. I think that yeah. First, I think if you are in on this path, you're going to, because you don't know how to control it. So a lot of it starts there because you feel, you got that scary movie feeling, and then it pulls in something on a lower vibration, and then you learn that what they are, and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore or see those things. So then you learn how to manipulate your energy so that it's not there. But yeah, mostly when I was younger, but it doesn't, I still can have those things come in and have to check myself.
And is there anything like you have to do? Like I used to like know a lot of ritualistic magic. So you know set circles and cast spells and cast protection and do things like that. Is there any kind of ritualistic stuff you have to do to protect yourself?
I think a lot of people have different ways to go about it. And I don't think that any way of it is bad. I think it's intention.
Intention means everything.
It's,
It does. It does. You know, when you make a sigil,
That's
if you have the
that's
right
the
intent,
whole the
you can
whole
create
drive
something new.
behind any kind of
I think it's
witchery.
intention, and I think it is what you are trying to get out of that, and your vibrations, and what you keep going with. Because you can go and be like, look, I don't want to go and be in a low point in my life, but you can stay there because you're not raising your vibration enough. You're not moving on.
You're not
So same
trying
with
to
spirits. You can go and they
lift
can keep
yourself.
coming and coming, but until you learn to move past that, they'll keep coming.
That's very familiar.
And
We had an experience once, a shared experience between her and I that we talked about before on this show, or not on the show, but on the other show, where I had a roommate.
Yeah.
And Jamie came over, and that was, I don't know if that's the last time you saw something, but I know that that's the time
was
that
that the
you
one? That was the one with the
encountered
sticky
something.
demon.
Sticky.
Mhm.
So Jamie can tell us more about what she saw and how that came
Um,
about. Because
well, we went through and blessed your house,
yes,
and I just saw. It's hard for me to explain these things because they don't look like something I can explain, but it was like this little creature thing that was little, but it like hopped around, and it was like it would like stick to the walls or the cabinets or the, and it would just like bounce back and forth, but it wasn't, yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, and this is more for the naysayers because there's a lot of
Of course.
people. How do you know that you're just not like crazy and that you're actually able to see and commune? Like, how do you know the difference?
I don't. I have lived my whole life going and doubting myself, and being like, this is crazy. I'm making it up. There's no way. And there has been so many times that I have been right that I can't say that it's nothing.
Or like the
Is it
story, like for
everything?
instance, of Zul's mother, how that
Yeah.
kind of got
So
corroborated,
I
right?
want to
Like,
hear your version
you
of it.
know, how did
You've
you
heard
like
mine.
she? How did she come? Because you guys were talking on the phone, from what I was told, and
Yeah.
you knew very specific details of what Zul was doing. Now, either you put cameras in her house, or you know,
Worse yet, I was in
you
my
were told.
car. I was in my
Yeah.
car.
You were in your car.
I was
That's
in my
Yeah.
car. Furthermore, I was traveling. There's like
Yeah.
so many factors that there's just no way she couldn't have bugged the house when she was here
Right.
for payments, you know. And it was before that happened that my mom passed away. My mom passed away before I even got this place. So
and so she had never stepped foot in the house. That is
she had
right.
never set foot in this house. Jamie had never set foot in this house either. Not yet.
No.
And so, how did she come to you? How did she appear to you, her mom?
So I knew Danny's mom because we've been friends and we've had, or you're talking about your mom.
No, I'm talking about
Okay, that's okay.
my mom. Yeah,
Okay.
Kathy.
I'm like, oh, I met her. I know Kathy.
Yeah.
So I've met her a few times. She's very quiet. But I've seen her and met her, but um it's so different because it's not in my eyes that I see you guys. So like what I see, I don't explain well. Um
Are
it
you
was
seeing things like as another dimension would see them, or are you just seeing multiple dimensions at the same time?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what another dimension looks like because I've never seen it with my own eyes.
But you could be, it could be your vision that you see, considering that you're saying you don't see things like we're seeing
Right.
things.
It's like um
Experiencing
so
it.
yeah, it's almost like auras, but then there's faces and feelings and
So I want some bear goggles. You know,
associations.
when we were kids, we had the bear goggles. You could feel how it would be to get drunk. I need
Oh,
some
yeah.
goggles I can put on to see how it would feel to see what you see. Um,
Obsidian goggles, isn't that a
Obsidian
thing? Or
goggles.
the and
Scry
I think
mirrors.
so. They're like red or blue, and like people go and say that if you put them on, you can see
Oh, they
UFOs or
have them.
beings and stuff.
what is
Yeah,
it?
and
Good.
I think it's called Obsidian glasses. I'll look it up and
Oh,
send
it's
it over to
Black
Danny.
Mirror. I
They
use
made them.
I use
Yeah.
the Black Mirror to scry. It's like you were saying. There's many
Oh, yeah.
different ways of communing. You know,
Yep.
there's like the Ouija board that everybody's familiar with, but there's other people with tarot. There is
Pendulum.
runes. There's
Yeah.
the whole
Pendulum.
Pendulum.
crystal, but there's also the Black Mirror and the obsidian glass. And if you can pure piece of obsidian and you sit on it and you look and you kind of just you get into what I would call a very meditative state, into ascension, where you kind of you get your I call it my astral temple. So if I can get my mind out of my body and up to my astral temple, now I can start to do whatever. And you kind of just envision and see what it shows you, and whatever you do, you just jot
Yeah.
it down
Yeah.
regardless, and then you try to make it make sense. But yeah, I remember I got one probably now like 15 years ago, but I ordered it from a company that just made obsidian mirrors,
Okay.
different sizes. So I got like a nice little one, like
Nice.
this big.
Yeah.
I'm scared of them. I won't get them because I'm afraid of what I might see. So I'd
Yeah.
rather not.
I don't.
I don't want
I
to
Oh,
don't
look.
I
think
don't keep it
mine.
out. I don't keep it out, and
I don't
honestly,
want to look. I'm scared of these things. But so I had called Jamie on that day, very desperate because I couldn't find my mom's presence. You know how when people pass away, you can sense their presence with you still. It's hard to explain, but anybody who's ever lost somebody close to them knows exactly what I'm talking about. I couldn't feel her. So I called Jamie. Jamie answers the phone. She's at work. She
Yeah, I
says,
was like, I can't. I was at work. My mind wasn't in this. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but like, I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I can't do this with you, Danny. Like, I love you. I will do it after I get out of work. Let me just I'm in work mode. So I hang up with her, and immediately it just like everything clicks into what I need to tell Danny. And I was like, guess I'm gonna be late on that. Hey, Danny, let's talk about this. And yeah, I mean, like, we had a good conversation. I think I feel scared to say what, because I don't want to, like,
you wouldn't be
it's
sharing anything.
your it's
Shared.
your
You can share. I want to. I want to reminisce on this
She was
moment.
honestly looking forward to hearing the kind of details
Yeah,
because
I'm reminiscing on the moment and how our memories play differently, and to see how
Um,
different you remembered it than how I remembered it.
I think about your mom a lot in that moment because I remember seeing your mom being in like a room with two people, and like that was really different for me. I've never seen that. It was like she was being um, helped to understand what happened, and
Because she was
guided
an
into like
atheist.
the
and that's
where
kind
to
of
go
what you
back.
said, Zul. She was greeted with family for a
Very,
few
yeah, she
days.
was a staunch atheist who didn't believe in an afterlife. So to
And
her, this would have been a great surprise, and she died very suddenly.
yeah, and what felt
So
like hours to her was almost it was literally days to the rest of us. So,
yeah,
you know, she was being kind of like put into
guided.
the system or like injected
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
And it
inducted.
was slow, but it was like it wasn't scary in any way, but it was just one of those like she was like, "Wait, now wait, where am I?" And they're like, "You're fine. It's okay." Like they were trying to like, "You're good. We're good here." And she's like, "Okay." But like what happened? Like she was still in that like in
Skeptic
between of
mode.
like knowing what was going on, and that was really interesting because I've never seen that before.
That's interesting. That would
Mhm.
be her. That
Yeah.
would be her.
And I think that's kind of the
She was a
misconception
skeptic, a
right
high
there though. You
skeptic.
well see that's to me is evidence, and plus like I said, there's no way you can, I mean, unless you guys are both lying, there's no way that one could have known what the other was doing or doing any of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
It's not
the thing that
possible.
stuck out in my memory, and I don't know if Jamie even remembers doing this, but she said my mom was kind of yelling at her, not really yelling because they don't really yell where they're at, but she was
Oh
very
yeah.
vocal,
Yeah.
and she was saying, "Why are you smoking in my jean jacket, in my jacket?"
Okay.
And I was like, "How the hell do you know that?" Because I was smoking a cigarette, wearing my mom's jean jacket to try to feel closer to her because it still smelled like her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that vividly. I remember you saying, "Why are you smoking?" She wants to know why you're smoking in her jacket or something, or your a
Yeah.
smoking jacket or something. And I was like, "I'm smoking in her jean jacket, Jamie, like right now on the phone with you in my car traveling. There's just no fucking way you know this."
And that's one of the things is like I was at work and again, it was I needed to get something done and I love Danny and I would give Danny my time. I love her, but like
I love
I
you.
had to do something and I couldn't do it because Danny's mom like was like, "No, no, we're going to do this together. Let's go." So that's I called you back and I was like, but
She's a
I
very demanding
honestly I
lady.
didn't remember that until you said that because um when I get in those modes sometimes it just comes out.
Yeah.
Things
And that's the
come
way
out.
it came out too. Was like you just were like spitting things that she was saying. You were like, she says she can't come to you right now because it would blow your mind. What she's just learned. She's got to take the time to learn these things. And you even told me that the letters that the people who she was with, that their names started with P. Both of their names started with P. And
Okay.
one was a man and one was a woman. It was an older woman and a man.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that would be Paul and Patty,
Yeah.
her godmother and her father
Yeah.
that came for her. Paul and Patty. So the fact that it was a very touching moment that, like I said, changed my life because it gave me
It gave you kind of insight and
clarity,
kind of like, okay, it gave you a little bit of validation.
so much peace and comfort in that moment.
And besides that, besides the peace and comfort, because you
But
were
beyond
searching,
that,
but it gave you
clarity.
that validation of, hey, everything you kind of may have believed in or thought of
Yeah.
or could have thought of, hey, there
It's
might be some truth to
the
that.
endlessness that you sense
Yeah.
is real. The
Yes, and
endlessness is real. We
Yeah.
don't end.
No.
It's without end. It keeps going. I don't think I even having talked to Jamie as much as I have, that I fully understand where the fuck it's going. But I know that
But I mean, and I guess like that's what I was gonna say. That's one of the biggest misconceptions you mentioned earlier, that it wasn't scary. It wasn't this dramatic, scary moment. Any of this really. Um, that when you see these entities, they're not looking like horror characters. They don't look like they've been already decomposed, or they've some bad acts. Like in movies, they always use ghosts and they look so scary. They make them look destroyed, and it's like I always thought that wouldn't make sense, because I would figure they would just look how they pass. They wouldn't actually like continue aging.
They don't. But there are times that they are scary. So like somebody might show you what they looked like when they were found drowned in a lake.
you
And like
experienced
then
that.
So you'll
You
see a crime
experienced that
scene.
at
You'll see.
the
Yeah.
seminary. You experienced it at the seminary. Do
Mhm.
you remember? We were in a room upstairs.
In the bathroom. I know that one.
Yes,
That I saw. That was
that
real.
one you saw. And yeah, you
The
were,
like you go like there was a guy that hung himself, and I turned the corner and I was like whoop, because
and that's
there
a
was a guy
legitimate story
hanging.
from Madison Seminary. She didn't know the stories from Madison Seminary before we went in. We walked through with the owner without her, and he told us the stories that are in the history books related to Madison Seminary, and some stories from behind the scenes that were just rumors from Madison Seminary. Maybe true, maybe not true. We don't know. There were no documents. Walking through the house with Jamie, she validated some of those, and then some of them she just kind of left hanging. But pun intended. This one was one of those that's confirmed actually happened. This gentleman hung himself in the bathroom upstairs. And
Well, that's
Jamie
not
saw
a fun. I mean, that I'll be honest. I mean, I meant to snicker, but that's terrible that happened.
It is.
Yeah.
But again,
Being
that's
from my
not a
horror
scary
world, I'm just
movie
totally
to me.
desensitized to even real world shit, because I probably at some times
Well, and
watched
it's
some obscure
several
movie that.
generations removed from us, I believe. So, it feels we become desensitized to history as well.
Well, just in things in general, I know certain things trigger certain people, or certain words, or certain imagery, and that's why we have such safety protocols. You can't even for instance, you can't even make an AI rope. It won't allow it in certain apps, because it'll say, "Call a suicide hotline." It literally will tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but in the horror world, you don't look at it as you kind of almost look at, oh, that's a clever killer, that's a great killer, that was a great kill scene, or that was a great death scene. You're not looking at it as, oh my god, that poor guy was suffering and he had to hang himself. It's like you
Right.
don't look at the humanity part of it, because at least for me, I'm looking at the cinematic part of it. How did they get that guy to look that way?
The thing that I think was most confusing about our visit to Madison Seminary is there's so many objects in that place that don't belong there.
Yeah.
And
What do you
they're
mean don't
from-
belong? Like
They're not from there. They're antiques that were brought from other locations to set the scene, because all that was left of the Madison Seminary was just basically rubble. And so when they cleaned it up, they brought in antiques from other locations.
Why though? Why do that?
To fill the rooms and make them look pretty, to make them look restored, which is
Why
nice.
not just, but why not just buy new stuff? Why bring
Because
ancient?
if you restored the room and you want it to look like it did when it was 1810, when that building was
Okay,
new,
I get that. But they had
really?
but every item they bring in probably had history to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when we're walking through this house, I remember Jamie going through every room and going, that used to be mine.
Yeah, like they just tell me the stupidest things sometimes. like they'll just be like,
I wore that dress to
you
prom.
see this lighter? I used to use it. It was my favorite lighter. Okay, great. I don't. Cool. Good for you. Like, I'm moving on. But
We kept getting interrupted with things that weren't relative to the seminary itself, but to the objects within the seminary that were brought there that carried an energy. So the objects that we have in our lives that are meaningful to us, that we use frequently, those carry an energy with them that we're attached to.
Some, again.
Well, yeah, and I think that, that's why you got haunted dolls and stuff, but it's also why you have a whole slew of other objects that are like, this comb was like
obscure shit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this comb has evil energy. Don't go near this comb. It's
Don't go
fucking
near this
bad.
comb. It'll
Right.
fuck your hair up.
And you can take it as paranormal and movie worthy, and like there's thousands of different things on this, but science is starting to get to some of this with quantum,
The
like
quantum
quantum
physics world
entanglement,
is
where like if
amazing.
you are millions of miles away, that this is going to happen. This one automatically connects to it.
String theory is
Yeah.
fascinating.
So
I'm not
we're getting
really
there.
smart enough to be able to describe it or understand it fully, but I have watched many a documentary on string theory and just find it just to be the most fascinating shit.
Quantum entanglement has a lot to do with a particle can be millions of miles away, two particles, and if they're connected, if you stimulate this one reacts the same way.
That's wild.
So
Kind of like twins. Twins do that, don't they? Like they can feel each other or
I
sense
was going
each
to say, do you
other.
think that happens to people?
Yeah.
and that's I mean, you're pushing the edge of science at this point, and they're not there, and that's okay. But it's fascinating to me, science, because I am that person that needs to know
Why this happened?
facts, and
Same.
it's very
I'm
hard
very
for me.
scientific minded,
Yeah.
especially with a nursing background. So I need to know why, how, what.
How
Yeah, but
can
maybe they don't want you to know why. Maybe
So like
you're
that
not meant to
experience
know.
where I called Jamie because I
Mhm.
saw the girl on the side of the road. That was the second time I'd seen an apparition and didn't have an
Mhm.
explanation for it. And because my daughter was in the passenger seat and saw the same thing and said the same thing, I
Mhm.
called Jamie and was like, what the fuck is happening to us? Why can we see dead people now? We don't want to. And you can tell your side of what you had to say about that, because you had to do some tapping in for that one too.
I did, and honestly, so like it's funny because when I get in those things, I don't always remember what I say. I just say what comes to my brain. But I remember thinking that um, you were tapped in because of your mother, like because you just had death, because you were trying to feel, because um, you are in healthcare, because this was happening up there. It was this perfect storm for it to happen at that moment.
I just happened to be open enough
Yeah,
to be
you
a
were like
receiver.
open enough to see.
And
And
she was kind of almost reaching for anybody that was open or just anybody that was listening.
Yeah.
Or didn't
well, I
even
think that
realize that people could hear her or that they couldn't hear her.
Yeah, I think that it was just a perfect storm for you. And I think that you were a little nervous about continuing that.
Yeah.
And
Terribly
I
nervous about
remember
it.
telling you that you don't
So
have to,
grateful.
but you could, you know?
So somebody asked, what's the extent of your gifts?
I don't know. um, so I think that's fascinating as the older I get, is learning what it is.
I know what she
And,
can't do. I
huh?
know that she's not psychic and she can't predict the future.
No, I'm not very good at that. Man, I wish I was. I could win some lotteries. I could make you guys
Because
rich.
I've asked her, what's gonna happen? And she's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I have no idea. A lot of my stuff has to do with dead people, unfortunately.
I see dead people.
It has to do with really just vibrations and feeling how people are and who's around them. And
What's the who's the most famous dead person you've seen?
I don't really ask for dead people to come to me, like famous people.
But have you
Have
ever
you ever
been
tried
anywhere
that?
and seen anybody like Hollywood actors or anybody that was in movies or anybody old like that or
They don't care
anything?
about me. They don't care about, like, why would they come to me for what? There's not,
So they have
first
to.
of all, I'm not
So
even open enough to
So
this. Is
what's
my
your
first.
take on people who say they can? People who walk into places and are like, I can talk to River Phoenix or
That would
whatever.
be amazing. He was beautiful, and they could. That's the thing is, I think that a lot of people gatekeep on this part because they want to go and know that they're the only ones that can do it. But I think all of us can do it.
Yep.
Oh,
She does,
Oh,
like,
the hate's coming. Everyone's coming with the hate. I'm just like,
it's cool. She can't predict that. She can't
no,
tell you.
she's not going to be able to tell you any. She's not honestly able to tell anything about the living. She can just tell about the dead. Now,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, it really has to do with like where I'm at too mentally. Like Ryan and I, that's my husband, went to a bar with some of his coworkers when there was a kid there, and like I just felt connected to him, but he's like 24 and I'm like 43, and I'm like, I know this kid somewhere. There's something about him that I know, and it took me half the night to figure out that he was an empath and he was not always faithful to his wife. So like I got there, but it takes me a while still. I'm not like top tier here, people. I'm just
but are
the
you like, is this like, do you feel though, if you were like, let's just say, if you worked on this, is this a skill that you could
You
keep
practice it.
tuning to the point that you could start doing, whatever you wanted, or really start conjuring people to talk to you at that point?
um yeah, in some ways I think I could. I think you could too.
It's just
Especially
like I said, that you don't
There's
know the extent of your
this
abilities because you haven't pushed them nearly to the
this
limits.
beautiful soul in front of us here has like no ego at all about her gifts. It is one of the
Well,
most
that's what I'm saying.
beautiful
Like, I don't
things
think she
about
knows
her.
what she's capable of, so she hasn't pushed it to the limits, but she's not doing things that some people, the first people would try to do would be like, okay, I'm going to try to win the lottery.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to, like, personal gain and all that stuff. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's
She there's
when
not
the
a
magic,
selfish bone
karmic.
in this woman's
that's
It's
body.
when this
She was
shit goes
blessed with this
sour.
gift
right. That's
for good reason.
karmic, and
That's when karma comes back and just
right,
fucks
and
you up.
that's I will tell you that I have gotten into darker things in my life and have realized that I have lost my ability completely. It was taken away. So it taught me to go and stay on the brighter side of things. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't always have good intentions for people. I'm a human being. So, I'm not perfect, but like I stay on the nicer side of things.
You're not making
She
people's
really
head
does.
explode by thought, are you? You're not
No.
like that boy from the freaking Twilight Zone who was like, "You better be thinking happy thoughts, or I'm going to send you to the cornfield."
No. No, but it's definitely, people in all religions will say that, like, if you pray, it's going and putting protection over that person or whatever. But you can also do the same thing to somebody in
Oh,
a
I
negative.
mean, yes, but I
But
mean,
that
there's
again,
probably
that's karmic.
whole decades of civilizations that would probably fear you just for you being able to see a dead body. They'd call you a witch, and they would stay far away from you because you commune with the dead,
Right.
which means you're in league with the devil somehow. And then you're
She's one
making
of the most
pacts, and you're
angelic
bringing
people I know.
souls, and yeah.
I think she is one of,
You're
if there's
too
such a
kind.
thing as a god, she is one of
Right.
God's gifts in my
Are you
life,
guys
at
just
least,
all
and
gods?
I'm
Is
sure in
that
the
just
lives of
are you
many.
guys just all fallen anuki and just you're just all a bunch of fallen angels?
Aw,
Is that what we're dealing with here? It could be
yes,
because that could be the exact case here.
we're connected, and that's another kind of creepy thing Jamie has said in the past. Jamie and I are connected in
Yeah.
that our connection in this world isn't happenstance. It was
No.
destined. We
We
were
That was
meant.
funny. Like even my friend that was in across that I met online said that like, oh, we were friends in a past like 20
yeah.
lives ago we were friends, and you gave me a letter or something, and we were like closer than friends or whatever she said, and she knew things that just almost felt when she was saying it felt very familiar, even though it didn't. It felt familiar. And so I meditated and dreamt about a few things and kind of pieced together. And then
So, well,
I brought back things to her that I was seeing, and she actually remembered those scenes. So it's like it was weird, but I do believe people are connected universally through the soul.
Yeah. I don't believe
And
that
time
anybody
does not
comes into your life by
time don't stop.
happenstance. I think
Yeah,
it's
and
all
time just
meant to
keeps
be
going. So
thing. But yeah, but her connection. So when we're talking about the extent of your abilities, one of the extents of it is that ability, even though you can't see the future, you can see the past. So you can see you've expressed things that indicate to me that you can see into people's past lives and their
Yeah.
past experiences. Tell me
So,
how that works, because that's
um,
uniquely different than seeing dead people.
so it's a lot like a movie to me. I get like glimpse of like, um, and it all depends on
So this
what
is where
I'm
it gets
being
cinematic.
shown. It is like it's like watching cliff notes of a movie or a short of a movie. It is so quick. And I'm like, oh, this is, you used to do this, or you guys were connected because of this or that. A girl that I work with, I tell her all the time that she was a voodoo um, witch, and she always laughs. And her mom works with her, and she was like, "Get this," and her mom's like, "You come from voodoo witches, like that's in our past." So like, but it's I see like her doing voodoo, and I'm like, that's so stupid, but I say it
So
because and
inquiring more deeply about that, there was an experience we had at the art museum where Jill was staring at a painting in like the Renaissance section of the museum for the longest
oh yeah, I
time.
remember this story. This is a
And
great
you
story.
said something about what Jill was experiencing in that moment. Can you share a little about that?
um I don't remember, Danny. I'm gonna
You
be
don't remember?
honest. I'm telling you, like when I go there, a
So what
lot
you
of
had
it
told me
isn't.
was something
mm,
about Jill had a past life in that
yeah.
era,
And that's the thing is,
and that
first of all,
she had
Jill
been
has
royalty,
had crazy lives.
and that's why she kind of has this air about her that we're all
Mhm.
beneath her.
So you kind of see these things. You were gonna say, do you kind of like blank out of reality when these things appear?
Uh, Especially around people that I trust, because
You
what
know
I
that you'll be
like,
safe.
the things that I want to say to you, I will not say to you because I don't know you, and I don't mean to be mean, or I'm not trying to like, but I feel like maybe I'm wrong and you'll judge me because I'm wrong this one time. So I'm not going to say it. But to Danny, I'll be like, nah, that's what it is. And she's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'm
that
more
that that,
open.
that, that makes sense. That's
Right.
Well, I
perfect.
mean that you know each other, and I mean to be honest, the more comfortable with someone, the more open you're gonna be. It
Are
takes
you
Right.
time
able
to
to
build
pick up
trust.
vibes by video like this? Are you able to pick up some kind of vibes from
Yeah, I
Versailles?
love to watch. It's so stupid. I love to watch like YouTube channels where they go and they investigate, and I'm like, oh, that's here, that's there, and see how much what I'm feeling is what they're getting to. Like that's just fun for me.
Oh,
It's like
that would be
playing house.
fun.
That would
Let's
be
find a user
we should
experience
do a
together.
watch along. We should do a watch along. Find a really good channel, contact them, see if we could do a watch along of what they're doing, and have you watch along and probe you.
And
That would
probe
be
me.
so
Probe
cool.
your mind. We're gonna probe your mind.
I
Don't
told
get
her that
crazy
earlier. I
now.
said I can't wait to poke around in that beautiful right
Yeah.
into it.
It's almost like it's almost like you're meditating for like that. It's not long, but even the phone call to when I was on the phone at work and we were talking about your mom, it's like I'm in that like meditative state that I'm not really consciously here
Okay.
for that moment.
But you remember it enough, at least when you come out, that you're
Oh
able to
yeah,
kind of
like
say,
I'm not like, oh God, where am I?
What happened?
no, but you also remember what you experienced. You remember whatever you saw. You remember the story of being it. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
and
there's some people that dream about things, but we don't always remember our dreams.
yeah, and
She doesn't look disabled by it.
uh, Project Fear Investigation.
Have you ever watched Project Fears?
No, I
No,
haven't.
I'll be honest. I don't watch a lot of YouTube unless now lately. I've just been watching just straight horror movies is because I have so many I have to catch up on. I've been doing so many interviews with directors and such that they all have a couple of films, so I like to watch them before I talk with them. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm the wrong person to ask about YouTube shows. I don't even listen to podcasts. I don't like podcasts, believe it or not. I don't. I'm
You
not a
like to talk.
podcast person.
There's a couple
I
I listen to, but
I'll
um,
like it. I'll subscribe to it. I'll rate it. I'll say it's great, but I probably very rarely will listen to it. I don't have the patience nor the time. And it's no, it doesn't matter about the person. They could be my best friend. I'm still not going to sit there and
I
listen
probably
to you
won't listen
talk
to
for an
every
hour.
episode. I'm a cherry picker. I'll go through and pick out the ones that seem fascinating to me by the title. I saw Chucky in the background. I'm in love with Chucky and a huge fan of Chucky. My
Oh
favorite
yeah,
actor, Brad Dourif, the actor plays Chucky, and I have the 7-movie collection of Chucky.
he does that.
Oh,
He does that well. And honestly, Chucky's one of those fun characters. And, that also combines magic with other things and
yeah,
afterlife too, because it takes a human soul.
magic.
He
What is your
puts his
take on
soul into
that?
a doll.
Can dolls be possessed by human spirits, or are those demon spirits only that possess dolls? And why dolls specifically? Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, like you see Annabelle, Robert. It's all these famous dolls.
Have you ever seen one of those famous dolls? And what was your take on that?
Yeah, I think that they can be. I can put something in it. You can put something in it, but it can be a good spirit. It can be a bad spirit. It can be, and yeah, I have Maddie at Madison is really famous.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Madison
doll there,
Seminary.
and I mean, like at that point, I did not get anything from her, but that doesn't mean that it isn't there. Just
Right.
we didn't connect.
Just didn't necessarily pick up, you weren't receiving at the moment.
Right.
And that's
Or
the
it was
thing.
a tricky spirit and knew that you were too good and was like, you know what? I'm not showing my cards.
Well, that and we've talked about
I
that
think
before too.
that
Just
it,
can't work
it
it like
could,
a
it
telephone.
maybe could.
Because I mean, I've heard people like that don't believe at all, and they went to go see Annabelle, and they were like, I haven't slept right since I've had this happen, just like terrible things, and Robert even worse.
Robert, I saw.
And
Robert
I
gave me
heard
weird
I heard
vibes,
a
but I
bunch of
didn't.
people that just had multiple just tragedies after it.
I
And
didn't have any tragedies after Robert the doll. Like
but
that
I don't
happened.
know if these are
Yeah,
people
maybe.
just connecting dots, saying, "Hey, all these bad things that happened. Let me connect it to the dot of this doll," or if they
Well, and
really
if they
got.
were abusive to the doll, then maybe they deserved that karmic energy. But
Well, that is
with
true
Robert the
too.
doll, he has rules written there that if you respect him and ask him to take pictures and to, and just kind of pay some respect, and,
Mhm.
I think that's the rule with Annabelle too. I don't think that she should be paraded around. I think she meant
I
to be
don't
stay
think
where she
so either.
was, and
Yeah,
that
she
was
needs to be
just. I
kept
mean,
somewhere
that's
safe.
the golden rule. Just keep her where she was.
Yeah.
Um, but like you mentioned something. You said you could put something into something. Could you do that now as a human spirit still alive, or does it have to take you passing to jump into that?
No, you could put something in there now. I mean, again, these are things that I would never do. I don't recommend it, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, you can. So let's take it in a more positive, creepy way. So like, there's adult women that sometimes get baby dolls because they have lost a child, and it kind of helps them grieve through that moment.
Yeah.
So they can go and put their child's spirit into that doll because they want it so much. It can get stuck in there.
It kind of reminded me of that.
And that's a
Bring it back to
positive
cinema.
kind
It
of.
reminds me of a movie. It was an AI movie before AI. It had a
That's
computer, and it was I'm gonna forget the name of the
fascinating and
movie.
horrifying.
Right.
But the parents lost their kids, so they bought this AI
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, I
I
dog.
know
remember
that.
that
And
movie. What was it?
she had to go around and like do stuff for him, but he was a freaking doll.
Yeah, and then they just
Yeah.
like they were abusing these robots, the society in general, and they ended up pitting them. It was with that Osborne guy. I think the
Oh
same
God.
kid.
Yeah.
What was wasn't The Good Son? That's not it.
No, that's the Macaulay Culkin
That's
kills his
Macaulay
family
Culkin, yeah.
movie.
Oh, what was
Not
it?
good looking movies like you
I
guys.
know exactly what you're talking about, but can't remember the name of it. Anybody in
Then I
the
have to look at
comments section
AI.
remember
It
the
was
name?
actually AI.
Name
Yeah.
of it was AI?
Yeah, 2001 AI.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a
But
And it
good
I mean,
had
like
flick.
you can also pull in, you know, lesser,
So
lower
hey,
level things into
but you see
items.
people doing that now with their pets too. They can buy like stuffed animals and it almost will they can put a photo to it or something to it that will bring it.
so now I have two questions.
Okay.
One of them was, what are your thoughts on these new AI robots that we do have and the risk of somebody putting so much energy and love, like genuine love, into a robot? What is the risk of souls becoming trapped now within AI dolls?
Hmm. I'd have to really think about that, Danny.
Yeah, that's
I don't,
scary.
yeah. I mean, like, I think
It's at
that
least a good movie theme.
it
You know,
is,
I'm thinking like new age reanimator now. I'm gonna bring
right?
somebody back via AI.
Right.
I'll be like the new Dr.
That's a
Herbert
really
West over
interesting
here.
That's
I'll do it.
crazy.
thought
It is.
because,
That's a
I mean, you could technically, I, I feel like electronics are different.
okay.
Are they?
Okay.
I don't know. This is just first impressions thinking about this stuff because that's
Because
interesting.
it kind of fucks with the energy field.
Right.
It fucks
Because,
with the energy field.
Yeah, it's
right.
like only
So,
certain toys get possessed, or it seems like older toys, the things that before the new age of all this
right.
Wi-Fi and Blu-ray
Microchips
and stuff.
and
Yeah,
Right.
all that craziness. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And even like toys and stuff that I've seen that like go off or play music, like sometimes people will have like children's books and there's buttons on the side where you push and they like make noises and those will randomly go off. Those aren't even like to Wi-Fi or to an electrical grid. So like I'm not sure about a robot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I was just kind of curious about that. I just thought of it and was like, whoa, wow,
Yeah.
we could go down a
well, yeah,
whole
because like with the
rabbit
energy
hole
and
here.
that, and people are putting these kind of things of it brings up. It's going to bring up more questions eventually.
It at least makes
Yeah.
a good movie. Someone should
It
Yeah.
take
does
that.
make good movies. Somebody
Yeah,
should
Yeah.
start writing
somebody should
scripts.
write that movie. And
I
then the
think
next question I have is about pets. So I want to so badly believe that our animals have souls and have spirits and they go, they carry on as well. They carry on as well, right? Am
yeah.
I right on that?
You are. You are absolutely right. And there are wonderful people that can go and read animals. I wish I was better because I have a cat and a dog, and I would love to know what the sassy looks are for. But, but you know, I think that they are energy. It's the same thing that, you
They're
know,
all human being. I mean, creatures are energy. It doesn't
right.
even matter. The smallest
And I think they
microbes that are
carry
out there
on.
have energy. They're alive.
It
Yeah, it
is.
carries on. Has a
It
spirit,
carries
has a
on.
soul that carries on into the greater unknown that is
Yeah.
still unknown
But you
I
because
got
think.
like
you
we
only
talked
get bits and
about this
pieces of
Bill
it. So it's not
before.
like you have. And then, last but not least, you have had some afterlife type experiences. I want to hear your. I want to hear your
Like,
take on heaven.
oh, so I've been there a couple times. And it's different for the different people that have come to me. So my grandparents came to me. They in life were I think they were swingers back in the 50s. And
Not swing
they
dancers, folks.
right. And then they got together and had two children, and he built a house. And I didn't know the house, but when they came to me, they were arguing about the house and where furniture was. And I got up and drew it for my father, and he's like, "How would you ever know any of this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They were just arguing about where the kitchen table was." And he's like, that's because the kitchen table, if grandma was making bread, was up front, and in the back of the house if she wasn't making bread. Stuff like that. But when I was there, they were like in front of a diner, and but like when I saw my mom, she was in she used to sell antiques and do that kind of stuff, and she had a plantation that she was at, that she brought me to.
Wow.
So I mean, like they're
I
very.
remember that. I mean, I'll say
When
this:
you
like,
say plantation, do you mean plantation like slaves and all?
Mhm. It wasn't. Of course, it wasn't like a plantation that was. It was like
Operating, because it was like
right. It wasn't an operating thing. It was like probably my mother's dream home, like to
okay.
be, like in those big mansions with, you
Okay.
know, the land and
So
stuff.
heaven is kind of what you imagine it to be.
see, like
What
I
would
was
be
gonna say,
heaven
like
to you personally?
my friend that did that. She one time wanted to take me to a place called the Ether. She called it,
Yeah.
and so we did this thing where I traveled, and I was here, and she was there. And it started off very much of me just laying down, and then I saw myself, on the ground, and I was moving above. And like I said, I'm able to astral project in the right frame of mind. But we just kept going and traveling for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, I got to a very hilly area, I would say, very green, very hills, mountainy. I had never seen anything like that, and she brought me to a little house on a mountain, and then up in that little house happened to be my grandmother, who I was very close with, might I add. I was her caretaker. She died, in my care. While I was watching her, she got sick and so forth, so she had to go in hospice, and people had to come in. But she was living in the house, so I was very close. And you know, my friend was able to kind of bring me right to her and able to talk to her in this mountain home. And I'll be honest, years later, it wasn't the same, but about I don't know, maybe 10 years later, maybe more, I ended up going to Italy for the first time, where my grandmother was from. And weirdly enough, it was a great mountainly, hilly kind of area.
Oh,
Not like the dream world. It was different. The astral projection was a lot different, but it was the same kind of textured landscape. There was all these green hills and little houses,
Yeah.
and I was just like, wow, like okay.
so heaven is what you projected.
Or wherever she
Yeah.
brought me, or wherever my
Yeah.
grandmother was at the time, that it could have even been a place here on Earth. Like I don't know, because like we
Do you
talked
think a
about.
lot of what takes place in the astral world is primarily projection? That they are projecting images that we can understand in order for us to have some sort of form of communication? Because what is there is beyond our understanding. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
I
So
will answer that after Emma. I will. So stay tuned for the end of the episode. I will answer those questions about those movies. But I do want to hear this, because this is kind of, like I said, interesting, because like I said, you talk to a bunch of people, and you'll have a bunch of people with near death experiences, and they will have visions of the afterlife. There'll be a couple of commonalities, but besides that, everything is very different.
Very different.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is different. It's different for everybody. I think that
It's a
depending
tailored
on what
experience.
you believe here is a lot of what you see there. So if you think it's nothingness, it's going to be nothingness. That's what they gave
But
your
see,
mother.
that's what Kathy thought.
Right.
Kathy thought it would be nothingness, and
So
then she wound up in a room with relatives going, "The fuck."
so you're going to see what is your core beliefs before anything else. And then I think um when you get past that, then you kind of
Learn the trade of
yeah,
what
and
you
I
can
think
do
that
in that
there's a lot of
realm.
things that happen on the other side that we don't know about. Like I think that we get reincarnated, so there might be times that you go and you come right back.
Oh
And there
wow.
are times that you go and you stay until your soul is healed from the trauma of this world, you know?
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
an interesting concept. I like that.
But I think everybody's belief is really individualized on what happens at the
I don't
end.
know if Nicole is still listening, but if she is, Nicole and I have this belief that we were linked in past lives as well, and we keep reconnecting because there's something very I already know you
Yeah.
about having met Nicole, and
See,
um,
I
and
see that. I seem to always meet the people that have seen the other side, the other side. They've seen, like the hell. They've experienced freaking torture, pain. They've seen all these. Like it's almost like that movie with
yeah, I was gonna say,
Constantine, where he's like he goes into this death world. I've been told about that place many times by many different people, not because they went there because they died, but because they literally went there, like they opened up a portal, went there, and then came back.
So, okay, so I have only seen in my experience one person go to hell. And
so
it
hell is
was
real.
a young guy. This is because I was in the hospital working. Um, it was a young guy in his 30s that went very rapidly, and he was very scared of death. And something came up beside him, black, really big, encompassed him, and they dropped through the floor, and he dropped dead. We couldn't bring him back, and that was the only person that I've seen that has went to hell.
Oh my god.
That was traumatic
That must have been though. That is
because
traumatic.
that is not how I have seen thousands of people pass away. That is not how it
That's
goes.
not the norm. The norm
That
isn't
is
actually that.
out of one of 1,000 people. That's what I've seen.
Wow.
So
What did
like,
he do? Do you
I
know anything about what he did in his life to
no, I
deserve that?
was early 20s. So like,
So
I
this was all still really fresh to you, and you were like,
yeah,
I didn't even want to see that. What the fuck?
yeah, that was really like
Hope
that
he
was
wasn't a
really hard.
podcaster. I hope that wasn't his sin.
No,
And that'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
I'm
no.
sure that it's
I
something
think he
worse.
probably had some pedophilia kind of stuff going
And
on.
I
that's
kind
what
of
they
felt that vibe.
deserve.
Yeah,
Well, then at least we know that justice is waiting for people,
Justice
right?
is waiting for you boys and
yeah.
girls who do sick shit like that. Um, and then what was the other question I had? I can't remember. You were going to answer the other gal who was commenting. You were going to answer her question about some movies.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna answer. I was gonna answer Emma, and he was saying that he watched The Stranger Things, Chucky, and Willy's Wonderland. I have watched a lot of Stranger Things. I haven't finished it. Chucky,
I
of
haven't
course, I
finished it
watched
yet
all
either.
the films. I do find them to be fun. The first three were probably scary, but after that, I find them very entertaining. I think Chucky is now a celebrity. He's a star. He's like kind of like Freddie became. He's got quirky remarks. He's got a girlfriend. I mean, shit, he's doing better than I am.
He came out when I was a child, so of course at that age it affected me differently than it does now as an adult. As a child, it
Yeah.
was, gave me the heebie-jeebies about my toys.
Well, anything that moves without batteries is automatically scary. Okay, I don't care what kind. That's witchcraft. If it doesn't take double A's or triple A's and it still works, it's witchcraft. I'm sorry.
It's scary when that stuff happens.
And Willy's Wonderland, I did watch that. I thought that was a great movie. I loved Nicolas Cage's role in that. He played this very silent kind of just guy that just meant business, and I love that he just kind of beat the
Nicolas
shit out
Cage
of
is great at everything he
every
does.
single
Yeah.
one of the animatronics. So I mean, it's different than Five Nights at Freddy's. It has some similar vibes, but it was a totally different story about a totally different lore. And him just, I love the imagery and the way it was shot, the way he was just beating these things. And they didn't have blood; they had this black oil spilling and spewing everywhere, and it just he would be covered in it. He'd have to keep watching. He also had a soda addiction in the movie, which I thought was great. He kept just opening up cans of soda and drinking it. It was a very good movie. He would play his pinball on his brakes. He was so like such
I'm gonna have to
working.
watch that one. I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
don't.
Yeah,
called
like he was such a good working employee. He kept to his
Willy's
job. He had his
Wonderland.
time. Yeah, Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's
And
Wonderland.
but in between, he's fighting these deadly freaking animatronics. He kills them, and then he cleans that up. He's like superficial at his job. It's worth the watch.
That's
Alright.
cool. I'm gonna check that out. That
Yeah.
sounds really
Yeah,
good. I like Nicolas Cage. Everything I see that has him in it
yeah,
is usually pretty good.
it is, and I love to see him when he does horror.
Yes,
There's been
he
other
does.
movies.
He does fantastic horror. He has such a animated face. So
Speaking of faces, I would have to say my favorite movie of his would be Face Off. That was a
Face
crazy
Off.
movie,
Yeah.
and that was great. The way him and Travolta played that was just brilliance, brilliance, absolutely brilliant movie.
Yeah, Face
That's
Off
pretty
comes
cool.
back for a review. The last time we spoke on the last podcast we did, there was something about faces being removed, and they showed this flash image of this little girl's face that was like torn off, half off,
Oh, okay.
and that was an actual real image, but it
Ooh.
was from something else. It was from the first face transplant surgery that had to be
Yeah.
performed because the little girl had her face
Yes.
accidentally ripped off.
Whew.
And yeah, but it
So
was
you,
interesting to hear it
you
out
mean
of
nobody was actually wearing the face as a mask?
No, nobody was actually wearing that face as a mask. That particular face belonged to a little girl who that was her face, and they were actually that was the first successful reinnervation surgery they'd ever done on a person to put a face back on a person.
I mean that is a thing.
She was
I mean,
essentially scalped, and her face was like
but that is that's a real thing that's a surgery. That's a real thing that takes
yeah,
place
it really
legally.
happened,
Like
and
yeah,
that was a really cool thing that happened in science.
uh, but you
So it
think a
can
lot
be
of
done. Face off can be done. It scientifically can happen. It's just very rare that they do that. That they would. It's a very technical surgery and it's very dangerous. I don't think they would just be doing it for shits and giggles or because you want a
but
different face.
if national security was at stake, then I think they would.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they would. I'm sure it's been used for things like that, for like high-end witness protection.
Because I mean, even other other presidents in other countries have like spot
You
on
take a
doubles.
cadaver face, and now you
Yeah.
have a new identity.
I mean, I don't know. It is anything is really possible. I do believe a lot of movies get inspiration.
So if you die with a different person's face on, Jamie,
ooh,
when you're a
this is
ghost, whose face do you have?
That's a good question.
The one you connect to the most.
If you die, say you die and you have a missing limb, a prosthetic, or something like that. Does your apparition also miss?
Okay, so if it is a child that loses its leg and it's under the year of 1, and he or she hasn't had that leg the entire life, in the afterlife they might not have a leg because they self-identify as projecting themselves
with no leg because they've never had one. Right. Okay.
Now, here's a weird question. Do spirits in that sense, or people in the afterlife, do they ever have like romantic relationships within themselves, like within other spirits?
Well, yeah.
Or is that kind of
her grandma and grandpa were still swinging.
Well, I don't know if they were still swinging. They did not show me. Thank you.
Grandma and grandpa coming tonight to show you some hay.
Wait, all those knockings at night, Jesus! All those knocking I hear on the walls. Oh
You're scared because you think it's this boogeyman, and they're getting
squeaky bed
down.
springs.
It's boogie down. It's a boogie down party. It's like haunted mansion over here. Jesus.
If the beds are rocking, don't come a knocking.
I think it depends on their soul's journey and what if they came here to work through what they needed to and they don't need that anymore from each other up there, then they leave. And I don't think that when we die we really go and are like, oh my God, he's so cute, I love him and I have a crush on him and I'm going to ask him to be my boyfriend. Right?
But that kind of goes away with the human kind of form. It's like bye.
Right.
There's no need for it because there's no reproduction.
Right, and it's pure love, and it's not masked with what we give people.
It's not lust.
Right.
Yeah, that physical essence and all that gets removed, and so it becomes something totally different, more pure.
Right.
but it's different.
Right.
So
So
that makes sense.
you've touched on this before, and I hope that I'm not touching on a sensitive subject. And if you don't want to talk about it, we can
You're
just skip
good.
over it. But you said that you believe this is your last life with
God,
your
I
husband.
hope it is. Yeah, I I do. I think it is numerology. I have one more, but whatever. Yeah, I think that yeah, I do. I think it's my last life. Um, I
In
think
general,
that
your last life.
yeah.
Oh, honey,
Oh,
no, I need you back.
this is
You have
exciting. Like, do you know how hard Earth is? Do you know how hard it is? It's
Earth
not
is
for the weak.
no. I believe in one. This is part of my Zool legend.
Yeah.
Is that this is purgatory, and it
Hell
is
on Earth.
it is both the best experiences you could possibly have as a human
Yeah.
being
Well, first of all,
and the
Jamie ain't
worst.
going anywhere. As we speak, she's being transcended into an AI machine.
Yes, because we're gonna
Great.
keep you. I project you into an AI doll that I will keep forever.
I
You will
will
be
haunt
trapped
you.
in there. But you're
I
coming
You'll
with
be
me.
seeing,
will
you'll
not
be
be.
seeing visions forever. Okay, don't worry. And we'll
I
be
I love
have
asking
you, and
you
I
to
no.
be.
can't do another lifetime on this planet without you.
We'll be like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Let me talk to Jamie. Jamie, what are you
Oh,
seeing
I'm gonna be
today?
so soul crushed when you pass away. I hope you die after me, because I'm gonna be so soul crushed thinking you won't be back. I really will. I love you so much.
I know, I love you too. But yeah, I mean, like I definitely, think that I have been through thousands and thousands of lives. You have.
Who has Versace?
Yeah.
He's been through thousands of lives.
Oh yeah.
I believe that. He's got a
Mhm.
Yeah,
lot of soul
Yeah.
in his soul. I
Hmm.
don't know.
yeah.
I don't. I'm not sensitive,
No,
but
but a
I
lot
pick
of
up
people have told me
vibration.
that
I
I have
think
an
we
old
all
soul.
pick
That
up
I.
vibration from people
Yeah.
that we engage with, and I pick up good vibes from Versace, but I pick up old soul vibes.
Yeah.
Like he's
You're right.
been around for a long time.
He has. He's learned a lot of lessons. A
Yes.
lot of
Have
lessons.
you though, Versace? Have you learned your lesson?
I really have, baby. I don't know. After tonight, I don't know.
So
Maybe I
that's
did
where I
not.
was going with the Nicole and I thing. Nicole and I think we keep coming back and re-engaging in each other's lives because we keep fucking up.
Yeah. See, I probably
Until we
wasn't
get it
supposed.
right, we just have to keep coming back and doing this shit again.
Maybe I wasn't supposed to run this episode. Maybe it was all an omen, and now I'm gonna have to do the whole thing all over again, just so I can still run the
You
episode
fucked
and
it
do
up.
it again.
I fucked it up. I fucked up the whole episode, Versace, and now we're all doomed to repeat it again next
But then we
lifetime.
can't because Jamie's not coming back. So now
Right.
you really
You're
put
gonna have
me
to
in a
pick somebody
conundrum here.
else.
We're in
What
a
are we gonna
paradox.
do?
We have a
Maybe
damn
next time,
paradox.
Zul, you'll go and be me.
I will bring up the Ouija board and I will find Jamie in the spirit world.
Black
We
Mirror's
can do
Ouija
this all
board.
over again.
We will bring it all out. We will have
Great.
seances on top of it.
We'll just
It'll look
tap her
like the
in that
Bone
way.
Temple here.
She's gonna
No.
be
Okay,
like,
we will
"Why are
bring
you
back.
bothering me? I'm finally at peace. Leave me the fuck alone."
Note to myself, when I pass away, nobody's gonna know. You guys are just gonna think like I ghosted you, like I'm not even there.
She's gonna
Like,
hide.
yeah.
She's gonna go die in a cornforfield somewhere so that nobody
Gone.
knows.
My husband's gonna be like, yeah, she's in the shower. She can't talk to you right now.
For like 3.5 years.
Right.
She went down the drain. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, after about a year, I'm gonna come knocking on your door and be like, "She's been in the shower a long ass time."
Hey,
Ryan."
there was that lady that was like that she passed in her like apartment and they didn't find her for like 90 years. Like nobody went in there and she was just like the whole house was from like the 70s.
And she was
Yeah.
watching TV.
Yeah.
Just died in her
Crazy.
chair. Nobody
She had
saw her
no
there.
friends. She had nobody to check in on her and nobody did and she was just there.
This is why you should be good to people. You need friends.
Yeah.
Because when you die, someone's got to come find your rotting corpse.
I mean that must have been extreme to whoever walked in there because like I mean that's a time portal
The
almost.
next
But
renter.
yeah,
How long can your apartment stay empty before somebody's like,
That's
how
how
long
like
did
how
you
does
pay
not
rent
somebody not
for?
know a space is empty in today's world? Like I thought everything was found, everything's been seen.
There's so much that's unseen. Drive through the
No.
streets of any big city and just look around at all the little portholes
I mean,
that you
even,
can
even
crawl
I mean,
into. Well,
had I
that's what
got
I do. I
into it,
drive through like the ghetto of Cleveland, and I'm like, wonder if there are people in that dilapidated building over there. I bet there are. Guarantee it. There are people in there.
well, I mean, there's probably
It's crawling
societies
with life.
everywhere. There's
This earth is just absolutely crawling with life. Every surface
Yeah.
Yeah,
has
but this is
life.
like people probably under us that have learned to adapt because they learned to live under there, and there's people under that learn to live under that, and there's probably people that don't want to even
Quite
deal with
possibly.
society.
Quite possibly.
And
They may not even know society is here. They may have went underground during the World War II and haven't come up yet.
Not
Who knows?
Encino
I mean,
Man.
there's, I mean, we didn't, I mean, to break it off a little bit subject, you didn't really talk about, it, but there's a whole conspiracy because if you look at older buildings and banks and such, you look at these things, they have huge doorways, and a lot of the stuff is under a level. Windows are only half shown because the other half of the window is under the ground, which means if that's under the ground, the door's under the ground, and then under that is the real underground. So
Yeah.
who knows how far and how deep
And there have been many
society has
stories
made it.
about houses and such that when they get into the basement and they find like corridors beneath there and whole rooms that are secret rooms. That one guy kept his daughter in a basement room for like
Yeah.
29 years or
Think
something.
about all the houses like in
What a monster.
Painesville that have the underground railroads that probably have boarded up like
Yeah.
passageways.
So
through there.
much, so many secrets to unveil still on this earth.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're doing here on Horror Nights, is unveiling the secrets and how they overlap with fiction meets
Well,
reality.
I was really curious. Like, so in your opinion, does this cinema, to kind of wrap it all up and so forth, does cinema get it right a lot of the time, or are they kind of way off and they're just?
They get it right in a lot of things, but it is so specific. So like Annabelle is real. They made a movie about it. Did it happen exactly like the movie? No. A lot of it's made up. But
Yeah, it only
it
killed
is
one
true
person.
that there's Annabelle and that some of those things it's based on that.
So
It's,
fiction is loosely based on life.
Yeah, like I heard that it only actually killed one person, but it was also a person that said, "Hey, Annabelle, I challenge you to give me your worst," and so the doll killed him. And again, it goes to like
Right.
breaking those rules and kind of crossing boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. Are you gonna go mess with that? Why try it?
Yeah, I don't be
Right.
calling on no shit to be fucking with me. I got enough bad luck of my own in this lifetime. I've
Become
still got
more-
several lives to go. I don't need no bad luck following me around for the next 26 lifetimes. But
No, but I always wondered that because you do see a lot of movies, and some movies portray ghosts as totally different. I've seen them portrayed all different ways. Some just shining lights, some just orbs. Others
what are
full,
orbs, Jamie? Are orbs an actual thing? Are there
Are
actual
they?
spirits in
That's a
an
good
orb?
question.
Yeah. It's energy and it's being captured by our equipment. So yeah, I mean, not all orbs are actually orbs. A lot of them can be dust. So like, you have to kind of be discerning about what
How
you're
it moves.
putting out there. Yeah. And
Does it
realize
float
like
around like dust, or does it zoom around like an
Right.
active thing that's moving on its own accord?
Did
But
I find Tinkerbell? That's
Right.
what I
I'm
want.
fucking Tinkerbell. That's for a whole nother
Fairies.
episode where we
yeah,
talk to
fairies
the
are
next
not
person
on
who
my
sees-
The
my
fairies and
radar.
unicorns episode.
future episodes. We shall talk to somebody who sees fairies and leprechauns.
Yeah,
How
I'm
do you
Right,
not
find that
into
person?
They
fae.
all
You're that
ride
person?
unicorns.
Hit us up in the comments. We want to talk to the next person who sees fairies and leprechauns.
Yeah,
And we want to
the
know what
fae can be
medications you're
very
on
tricky.
that you're not
Not a-
working.
Not a thing that I would work with. They can be very tricky.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, you're saying you're working in health and you're seeing all these images and such during the day. I mean, have you had to adapt a lot of the way you work because of what you see?
Yes. And a lot of so with me, I'm really good at going and telling you how long somebody has before they die and who's
Yeah.
there to pick them up. So like, I really don't like to take care of people that are passing away because I just keep generally, not always, it's not an always thing. We'll continuously get somebody being like, "Hey, I'm here to pick them up," and I'm like, "I got it. Okay, we're just keep that to yourself. I need to go and clean him up or whatever." And they're like, "But like, can you tell my mom or can you tell my daughter that I'm here?" And it's like the wife that's sitting with her husband, and I'm like, "No, it's not the appropriate time to be like, hey, your mom's here with you and your husband." Like, so yeah, I definitely kind of move
Yeah, that would be
around.
challenging.
Yeah.
Hey, your dead mom just appeared to me to tell me that she's here to pick you up, take you away, and
The
you're having a
last person,
conversation with your grandchildren.
right? The last person I did that to was only a couple months ago. It was a husband and a wife, and they were in the same room. Both of them were dying, but the husband was dying quicker. And he was lucid that day. He was able to talk and stuff. And I said, "Hey, I just want you to know that your daughter's here." And the wife was like, "She's here," because she thought that she was actually living in that time. And I was like, "She's here." And I was like, "I just want you to know that you're going to be picked up by your daughter and that this is going to be fine." And he's like, he started crying and was like, "I can't believe that you saw my daughter." And I'm like, "She's here. She's ready for you when you're ready." And he died within 6 hours of that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like it's really
Do you that sounds awful as a nurse. You don't do this. I know you're better than this. Start the paperwork early. You're like,
no, but I tell the
Mr.
nurses
Jones is
to
gonna
start
die
it.
on my shift. So I'm
See,
just
that's the cinematic side they don't show. Like I said, like in a lot of movies, ghosts are almost always portrayed as these negative spirits that are out to harm, or they're malevolent, or they're bad, or they've been tortured souls, or something.
death has
They
come
never just
for you.
show good people, and,
Yeah.
and they never just.
They're just normal people that had lives with their people that want to see their people. Like, I know for a fact that Danny, you're going to have your mom there to pick you up, and you're going to have your grandmother there because she's so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I could go on and on, but I'm not going to because again, it's
I
not.
can't wait to see her
But
again
like,
someday.
yeah,
And I know
I mean,
have
like,
to wait.
it
But
is something that you will see the people that you want to see at the end of your life.
Well, I mean, I think that's like that's
and
kind of
you
the
have actually
commonality with
told
it.
me that I will see my mother again before the end of my life.
Oh yeah, I mean, 100%. That's
That she said she may come back even as one of my own grandchildren.
yeah.
And I am like, even though I'm not pressing my kids to have kids anytime soon because they're all really young, I'm
Yeah.
still like, can't wait to see those grandbabies and see which one carries and embodies that spirit that I'll recognize right off the bat because she just had such a unique spirit.
You'll be able to kind of pick up that energy right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Yeah. I can't wait to see her again.
Yeah.
So that's what I live for. I live for that moment. On the darkest times and the hardest times, I live for that moment when I know that I'll see her again.
Yeah.
So
you will. It is love connects everybody and everything.
Well, they say it. I mean, even like
I'll be
people
damned.
like
I'm gonna see
Alistair,
you again too. Damn it! I'll
even
go
people like
go to
Alistair
the pits of hell and
Crowley
drag
said,
you up.
love was the law. Love is the law. Like love is the law because it binds everybody together. It's a universal energy.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful energy. It's a positive one. It's the one that you should tap into the most because you get the most back out of it in return. The more you give, the more love you give into the world, the more love you get back from the world. And it's really, it's not such a dark and bleak place. And that's why I call it purgatory, because it's not such a dark and bleak place if you find love.
Yeah.
If you find the light.
Yeah.
Just find good people. Surround yourself with fun people, good people, people that your energy vibes with them, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. 100%.
And shake off the negativity. Just let it go, man.
It's not worth it. That's the real demon. That's the real demon attached to people. The negativity.
The
Yeah.
negativity, it is a demon. I think it's like that sticky demon. It just sticks to people and it drags them
And it
down,
grows
tears
and
them
it loves
apart.
to grow and manifest. It
Yeah,
truly is almost like almost a cancer.
yeah.
It's
And
ridiculous.
it's
Yeah.
hard to resist at times.
It is.
That's the temptation part of it that's in the Bible, is that temptation to tap into. We all have that capability to be evil and to do evil things and to be harmful to one another, and we do that on a regular basis. And that's where the true evil lies.
Well,
Is we
that
don't.
I think that
It's
comes
not
with
the
the
devil.
ego.
It's us.
It comes with
You're
the
right.
ego. The ego makes us say, "Hey, we're gonna one up this person by bringing them down a notch,"
Yeah.
not bringing ourselves up by bettering ourselves. No, that's too
Yes.
hard. We got to knock somebody down to bring them down a level because, again, that's the easy route. And there's no
Yeah.
devil to watch over you and say, "Hey, do this,
Yeah.
do that."
It's not. There's
I'm
no.
sorry, it's not a good and evil thing. It's a human thing. It's because our instincts and the way that we're meant to act get
So
kicked in, and our rational mind stops working.
so
Yeah.
one last question, because we were on the
Okay.
subject of hell here, and then I know we have really run over the time, but so you tapped on the subject of hell and how you watched one person be drugged to hell.
Yeah.
Um, and then in another instance, you had said hell is here on Earth.
Yeah.
So where did he get dragged to? His soul is trapped here, earthly? Is his whole soul like earthbound?
So I don't know where he's at because I never connected with him again after
And you don't
that.
want
Right.
to.
So like to go and like I didn't connect with him again. So yes, hell is here on earth, and I think that's like we've talked about the low vibration. And there's a lot of really negative things that happen here on earth that are part of
Illustrate
that low vibration. And
the
it is
terrible crimes we commit against each other.
right.
So if you
And
go to it, so like for instance, if you were to go to a terrible places where a lot of atrocities are happened or a war zone or something, that whole place or that whole area would it automatically be in almost a lower frequency?
it could be, yeah. I mean, like I definitely would suspect that that would be the case.
And
Yes.
so that could be
And
like
it,
a portal to hell in and of itself.
yeah, yes, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do. I think that there's people that pass on and live on a lower level of, where they're at. Again, I think there's spirits that can go really low,
Oh yeah.
and it can be very scary.
Like you said, those
What
who
they get
commit
to
crimes
see,
against violent and
but
horrible
that is,
crimes against
yeah,
one another, and that kind of thing can probably not only damn the souls of those who've been
mhm,
injured to having to stay until they're healed, but also damn the souls of the persons who've done the injury to the hell that is right here, and you'll never ascend. You'll
yeah,
just stay at that lower frequency. And
yeah,
that is why you should try to strive for better in your lifetime.
And you
yeah.
want to ascend. Who doesn't want to ascend in some sort of
Yeah.
ascension? But not just
You
in
want to learn and
riches and
grow.
glory. You want to mentally ascend. You want to get to a higher level
Yes.
of
Higher
operation.
frequency of thinking
Hmm.
is
Yes,
like
because then
key.
that's when you do get into like honestly, and I'm a firm believer, but if you can get into these higher vibrations, that's when you get into telekinesis. That's when you get into moving objects with your mind.
That would be
That's when you can
fascinating. If we have
really
any
get into it.
telekinetics listening tonight, it would be fascinating as hell to do a episode where we interviewed somebody with telekinesis. That would be
Yeah,
impressive.
People that could tell me, hey, I see what card you're holding and
yeah,
so forth, because they're operating on a different level that we're just not there.
We're just not
yeah,
tapped into.
No, we
But as
can get
Jamie has
there, but
said,
we're not tapped
like
into.
Jamie said, we're capable. We're capable of those
We
yeah.
things.
either don't know how or we're not mentally ready. And
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with mentality, and I think, and the other part of it is gatekeeping. I think a lot of the community is like, if you want to know, you're going to have to pay me to know.
well, yeah,
And
because everybody turns it into a trade. If I can read minds and I can make money, I can do, carny shit.
So then it
right,
And
becomes, then it becomes a trade secret.
right, and it, in my opinion, I don't think it should. I think it's one of the things that holds our society back
Yeah.
from
Keeps us
growing.
all at a lower
Is
vibration.
Right.
Because that's a
And
gift that we
all
should
money.
share with
Right.
one
Yeah.
another.
I
Is
mean,
that
why not?
ability?
If
Yeah.
you could talk to your grandmother that you took care of, you
Yeah.
want to, right? Everybody would. There's somebody in here named Emma that said that she was named after her grandmother. She would want to talk to her
Well, I
grandmother.
mean, I do like I go when I say I go to the cemetery and I'm doing this, I always go by
Yeah.
the grave and I always talk, and sometimes I get responses. Sometimes I do hear things.
I
It
often talk to my mother and I hear
Yeah.
her all the time. And I don't know if I'm just
You're not.
psychotic and comforting myself or or if
Yes.
she's truly talking to me in a sense.
I
And
think that's a really good place to kind of finalize that, is that you guys are not crazy when those things happen. Those things are really happening to you. And if movies and TV and people that I call spiritually snobby like to say, oh, I can do that, you can't do that. But and we have that doubt because it's like, oh, that's scary movie stuff. I'm just thinking scary movie wise. It's not always that. You have to believe that you are actually doing those things and talking to those people and bringing people to talk to you.
yeah. And it is scary movie vibes. Like I said, I'm not, like Versace was saying, some of us aren't ready. I'm not ready.
oh, there's people that don't want to know the future, that it scares them. I mean,
Well, I used to read tarot cards. When I was much younger, I dabbled quite a bit in the craft. I
yeah,
was raised on it, frankly, and I don't talk much about that because I don't practice routinely. I practice as needed and with good intention at all times. Otherwise, I don't practice. Because I did dabble in some dumb shit when I was younger, and I did tarot readings. And one of the things about tarot readings is once you've laid the future out before you and you have an idea of what the path may contain, you automatically have changed that entire path because of your knowledge. So it's
Yeah,
no
you
longer
can,
applicable because you've now changed the path because of knowledge.
yeah,
Knowledge is that apple
yeah,
that we weren't supposed to eat. So I would rather lead my life not knowing and make each decision organically and authentically and as it was destined to be,
yeah.
than to use foresight and try to correct my path of life. Karma will tell me if I'm on the wrong path. It has a way of telling me that quite frequently. So,
Yeah,
if I'm heading the wrong direction, I get notice.
you can tell them.
You
Yeah,
just have to pay attention.
yeah, you're right.
well, it's all interesting, honestly. And like I said, like I'm more of, like I said, a cinematic person. I tend to watch a lot of horror movies and such, but I
I
always
love
love
that.
seeing where these, true inspirations come from. And when you see this, I call it true horror, real horror, but I mean, like you said, it's not really horror at all.
Right.
But
But
I
it
mean,
overlaps with
to a mundane person, if they saw a spirit, they would be scared. They would see a ghost. They would get scared
absolutely.
automatically.
I will tell you
And
firsthand, petrifying
and
shit if
so
you're not
with that,
prepared.
I call it horror.
Yeah,
And like I said, it's an almost always thriving subgenre because there's all these ghost stories that either happened, are happening, or are getting released,
yeah,
or things are getting rewritten. I mean, yes, like you said, these Warren movies, no, it wasn't piece by piece, but they tell the general story and they made it a cinematic masterpiece and they made some money off of it. And
Yep.
it brought light to that whole, kind of, hey, there was these real paranormal
hmm,
investigators out there.
yeah,
People really
It
do
brought some
this.
yeah,
validity to the
Yes.
field. And I
yeah,
think that was really important, both cinematically and scientifically, that
yeah,
it brought some validity to it. Because
100%.
where art crosses over, where art and life
But
meet.
no, but we're not. But
That's the
it also
beauty.
goes to show you with here Jamie coming on and talking that you don't have to be going out there ghost hunting per se or have any special equipment
No,
or be trying to, capture anything. It could just be a simple thing of you're sensitive, your mind is open to it, and now you're seeing these things on the
And
regular,
your
and it's just
intentions. Your intentions
and your
are
intention with
everything.
them. I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, you set strict boundaries on what you're allowing to be shown and where they're coming from and what their intent with you are.
Yeah.
And with that boundary being set, you're not dealing with anything that's too treacherous or
Right.
dangerous or that's going to bring harm to you or your loved ones. So everything's kind of,
Yeah.
but
It's a safe practice
it
if
is.
done well. If you can
It's
understand,
taken a long time.
you have to understand your own power within you to
Yeah.
control those things, just like the own power within you to control the things in your life on a daily basis, your temper, your bills,
Yeah.
you have power over these things. You
Yeah.
just have to
You just
tap
have to
into
grow
that
it.
power,
Mhm.
and you have to have faith in that power.
Agreed.
Wow. I love it. Thank you for coming on, Jamie. Thank you for talking about it. I know
Absolutely,
some of this might
thank
not
you.
be easy because, again, the crazy word gets thrown around there a lot with this stuff.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other, names and different psychological terms get thrown out there. But the reality is that a lot of people can actually do this.
Yeah.
They can. It's more common than I think people think, but I think people are afraid to talk about it because of the fact they don't want to be branded.
Right.
Yes.
And
So
thank you
thank you
guys for
for
inviting me on and going and talking about this, because you're right. Going and having people speak about it goes and can help somebody think that they're also not crazy, and that they don't. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank
it's a
you.
good thing. It
It
opens up
does.
the world in the way that it ripples out and the
Yeah.
lives that it'll touch from here. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you came and shared your gift with everybody that'll see this podcast. And that I thought it was really important that we did this tonight. So thank you so much for
Thank you
being
for coming
a guest.
on. Thank you. I really do. I think now I'm going to go watch The Grudge. I've had enough of the
There you
nice
go.
spirits.
I
I
want
need
you
to
to go
see
check out
something nasty.
Willie's Wonder World.
You watch Willie's Wonderland. I need to see a
Wonderland.
nasty spirit now.
Willie's Wonderland.
You
I'm
can
gonna go
find it. I think
find
it's
that.
on Tubi.
I might check that
But
out because it's
check
Nicolas
it out.
Cage. It can't be
Check it
bad.
out.
It's got to be good.
It's
All
good.
right.
It is good. Thank you, everybody. Stay spooky.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Stay creepy.